Hello everyone! We're here to report the assigned topic which is religion.
Religion. Giddens and Dunyer, 2013, cite Durkheim's definition of religion as involving a set of symbols that invoke feelings or reverence or awe which are linked to ritual practiced by a community or of believers.
These are the selected materials. The selected articles in the reader present important institutions in the Philippines and how it permeates our everyday lives. Mary Holsteiner examines utang na loob or debt of gratitude, reciprocity that serves as a continuing economic mechanism up to today. The next readings provide insights into the workings of various institutions such as family, religion, and civil society. Alfred McCoy identifies the elite families as of powerful socio-political institutions in the Philippines and present cases of political dynasties in the country. And Frank Lynch examines that concept of folk Catholicism and how it makes us better Christians and Filipinos. Zeke Rose points out the lack of separation of church and state and how the social dynamics of faith challenges the legal and political restrictions in contemporary Philippines. Jose Magadia examines the transformation of political and social institutions and how this brought about the moods of relationship between the Philippines state and Filipino society after the EDSA People Power Revolt.
What is utang na loob reciprocity? On what occasion is it experienced? How have utang na loob practices changed along with the values and norms of Philippine society? Holsteiner explores the norm of reciprocity, which refers to the principle of behavior wherein every service received, solicited or not, demands a return, the nature of proportion of which is determined by the relative statuses of the parties involved and the key of exchange at issue. She classifies reciprocity in three types, namely contractual reciprocity, quasi-contractual reciprocity, and utang na loob or debt of gratitude reciprocity. The article then proceeds to discuss utang na loob reciprocity in the context of the family and outside of it, emphasizing that the concept of utang na loob in relation to family obligation is deeper than that used in non-familiar relationships. It is also complementary rather than reciprocal, imposing on family members to help their closest relatives which the situations demands. In contrast to complementarity, utang na loob reciprocity is incurred in various ways, such as when sending a relatives or friends child through school, putting up relatives in one's home, rendering a professional services for free, giving a job, and so on. Occasions for reciprocations are festive events such as a fiesta and elections. Holsteiner argues that up to today, utang na loob reciprocity continues to be an important economic mechanism. Nevertheless, with modernization, it has found more dominance in the non-economic favor, doing practices among smaller social circles than a wider economic order.
McCoy, what factors give rise to elite families as the most powerful socio-political institution in the Philippines? How does a political dynasty created and maintained? McCoy's article locates the importance of elite families as a socio-political institution in the Philippines. Historically, Filipinos have learned to rely on their families for social support, basic services, and protection because of the inability of government and the church to provide for this. This legitimizes the role of kindship in politics, which allowed local elite families to gain power and control over provinces and towns. A family name, therefore, is the most valuable asset in politics. Laurel in Batangas, Osmeña in Cebu, and Conhuanco in Tarlac, to name a few. Two key elements have been attributed to the rise of powerful political families post-independence. The first is rent-seeking, in which the Philippines post-colonial state created an artificial advantage for entrepreneurs, often elite families, by restricting others from entering into the market. The second is the weakening of central government control over the provinces, which gave rise to the proliferation of arms and warlords. It then briefly present cases of political dynasties in the country.
What is folk Catholicism? What are the examples of folk religious beliefs and practices? How does folk Catholicism make the Filipino more religious? In what way does it make him or her a better Filipino? Lynch introduces the notions of folk Catholicism to show how the church and Philippine culture have adapted to each other. Key to its definition and the distinctions between an official and non-official. Official Catholicism refers to the train, ritual, and administrative organization proposed, approved, or maintained as normative by officially designated authority. Unofficial Catholicism includes the tolerated, the disapproved, and the condemned. Folk Catholicism includes these three unofficial categories, but only where the beliefs is popularly derived and used, and it's sanctioned as traditional in the community where it is practiced. The practice of official religious beliefs and practices promotes community solidarity, but it is the practices of folk religious customs such as Santa Cruzan, Pabasa, Ondras, co-parenthood system, Lamay, and Padasal, which often operate independently of official supervisions, that sense of community is most clearly cultivated. According to Lynch, folk Catholicism makes Filipino better Christians by making it easier for them to understand and accept the message of Christ. Folk religious customs give faith a physical form or provided it the language and other symbols that are distinctly Filipino. And because folk Catholicism supports core Filipino values, it also makes those who practice it better Filipinos.
Cruz, what examples of political events in the Philippines show religion to have contributed or played a significant role? Sarah's article points out the lack of separation between church and state and how the social and dynamics of faith challenges the legal and political restrictions in contemporary Philippines. He posits that religion shapes even while being shaped by it. This blurs the line between socio-political and religious realities. Religion's role in the political evolves depending on the historical and social context. The article then offers several examples how religion's role and impact in the Philippine society constantly changes. It ends with a call for the church to constantly resist itself and its place in Philippine society and politics to remain significant in the process of nation building.
How did societal organizations participate in the democratization process of the Philippines? What are the challenges of this expanded rule? How can the Philippine state maintain these gains? Magaja examines the transformations of political and social institutions in the Philippines post-martial law and how this affected the relationship. The study finds societal organizations to have been gaining influence beyond local policy making, even at the very challenging context. New modes of state society relations and an increasingly exclusive space for engagement have emerged, consistent with the feature of post-authoritarian regimes. Eternally, societal organizations have gained technical capacities and confidence to engage the state more effectively. To able to maintain these gains, the following must be pursued. First is institutionalized civil society participation in the formal political processes of the state. Number two, establish stable institutions such as elections of and political parties that corresponds to democratic ideals. Number three is regionalize government functions and structures, which implies curbing corruption and increasing capacities of its own human resources. And four, achieve the balance between guardianship and enabler to autonomy as the primary role of the Philippine state.